welcome back to another episode of English Rules.
In English, we've been studying poetry and so many poetic techniques. This week, let's look at metaphors. What is a metaphor?
Metaphors are different to similes, whereas similes compare things using words like as and then. Metaphors say one thing is another thing.
Let's look at an example. An example of a simile is, her angry eyes are like a stormy ocean, or her eyes were as angry as a stormy ocean.
So let's change this simile into a metaphor. Her angry eyes were a stormy ocean.
If you put it that way, metaphors are not so difficult to remember.
Here is a very famous poem, The Sea, which is a great example of a metaphor poem.
What immediately grabs my attention about the sea is the opening line is actually a metaphor. The sea is a hungry dog. Like a dog which cannot satisfy its appetite, the sea is always hungry too.
And what is interesting about this poem is everything that comes after it extends this metaphor. I love the way this poem builds on this.
While the poet describes the dog as he rolls on the beach all day with his clashing teeth and shaggy jaws, what he is really describing the continuous crash of the waves. So the rolling dog and clashing teeth are the rolling and crashing waves.
I get it. So when the poet says the dog bounds to his feet and snuffs and sniffs, shaking his wet sides over the cliffs, and howls and hollows long and loud, all these sounds as snuffs and sniffs and howls and hollows is really the different sounds of the sea.
That's right. Did anyone notice another technique the poet used in these lines? With snuffs and sniffs and howls and hollows, he repeats the first letters of S and H, and that is called alliteration.
Let's leave alliteration for another episode. Let's return to the poem. Up to this point, the poem is very noisy because the howling dog with the clashing teeth was a wild sea. But what about when the sea is calm? The poet repeats quiet to how the dog acts during calm times.
Well, the dog is asleep as it lies on the sandy shores. So quiet, he scarcely snores, which highlights just how quiet it is. It barely makes a sound.
Just like when the sea is calm, you can barely hear it.
And did you notice the alliteration again with scarcely snores?
Let's leave it for another episode.
Okay. Well, that was our episode on metaphors. When we compare something to something else, and something is something else.
Thank you for watching English Rules. See you next time. Bye!